I never knew that the way people described you would become a prison until they did it. When I met me, I was not a preacher. So I didn't know that they would incarcerate me with the title. You are at your best when you are authentic to your core. And you have to be what you are, not what they call you. Sometimes, you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes people will call you a name and you start living up to the name and it limits you from what else God wants to do in your life. You know, and by the way, I get a lot of credit for inventing this, but the credit is really misplaced. Because when you think of the Apostle Paul, he was a writer. He was a thinker, respected by the thinkers of his age at a time when there were profound thinkers in Paul's age, known for his ability to be progressive intellectually. He was a speaker, he was a writer, he was a tent maker. He was able to influence Aquila and Priscilla, not because of his preaching, but because of his business. They shared the same business. And out of that business influence and affluence, a relationship emerged that affected the kingdom. When you look at Jesus, who was a carpenter's son, and later they called him a carpenter, he who handled wood ended up nailed to a tree. And what happens in life as we evolve as a person, we cannot allow ourselves to be incarcerated by anything that people would describe us with, because we limit then what the Holy Spirit can do in your life. You understand? Yeah. And because I was raised by a dying father, born in between two dead babies, I really value the preciousness of life. The baby before me died and the baby after me died, and my mother clutched to me as only a mother can who has lost a child. And an appreciation for the value of life and a refusal to allow anybody to take away the great privilege of being alive. I will think for myself. I will move in my own direction. You can say whatever you want to say about it, but I'm going to be me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the core of everything, SOAR is saying, don't be limited. Don't put a period because you did one thing that you can't do something else, that you can't be something else, that you can't evolve as an individual, that you can't explore other idioms of thought. You're only measured in terms of success by his investment in terms of contribution. If he gave one man 1 talent, another man 2 talents, and another man 5 talents, he didn't expect the man with 1 talent to produce 10, but at least give me 2. The man who had 2 talents came back with 4. The man with 5 talents came back with 10. The man with 2 talents came back with 4. The man with 5 came back with 10. Those are the same things. That's 100-fold. The man with 1 came back with nothing. Now, the Apostle Paul says that when we compare ourselves with one another, in so doing it is not wise, because we don't have the same starting place. So if I'm going to make success predicated on what my neighbor had, that is only fair if I started with what my neighbor started with. I am in touch with myself in a way that a lot of people are not. I know me. I've dated me. It's funny, but it's true. I've dated me. I know me. You know, when you date somebody, you explore them to see who they are. Most people are so busy dating other people, they never dated themselves. You understand?
One of my favorite stories is about a man. Now, this man is walking down a path and finds an egg, an eagle's egg. He takes this egg and puts it into the nest of a backyard hen. Pretty soon, the eagle hatches with the chicks and grows up with them. Now, all his life, that eagle did what the chickens did. He would poke around in the dirt looking for worms and insects to eat. He would fly a few feet into the air like chickens do. He'd cluck around. And as time passed, that eagle, he grew very old. And one day, he saw something above him. This thing, it glided gracefully and majestically through the clouds. "What's that?" the eagle says. "Oh, that's an eagle," one chicken responds. "He is the king of all birds, the master of the skies. But we belong to the ground because we are just chickens. Don't worry about him. You will never be that." And that eagle lived and died a chicken because that is what he thought he was.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
If you're new to the Impact Secret Podcast Show, welcome to the family. To my existing family, big up and thank you for joining this movement. On this podcast show, we shift the mindset through inspiration, motivation with a standing foundation of self-discipline. I am your respectful host, ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there here, listen, that just simply means Ed. Now, you know the slogan, you know the motto, bet on yourself. You won't win unless you get in the game and play. One of the favorite quotes here at the show is, "You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have." Bob Marley. Check this out, family. If living means doing what you love to do, even if you have to fall to get back up, well, I will do it again and again and again. As usual, family, I have one question and two thought-provoking statements. First question is, what have you limited yourself from? What have you limited yourself from? First thought-provoking statement, run your own race. Again, run your own race. And the second and final thought-provoking statement is being imprisoned by what other people think, not know you should be. Ooh, that's heavy. I'll say that again because maybe I missed you. I said being imprisoned by what other people think, not know you should be. Well, family, I am so glad to be back. I'm so excited about the opportunity to be back on this mic because I don't take it for granted. See, what I've understood along the journey while I was taking my time off to work on my actual passing the PMP. Remember, I told you in November that, hey, I have to literally shut everything down. You said, well, why did you shut everything down? Great question. See, this is why I like talking to you, family, because you guys are thinkers. So while you're thinking, well, okay, he shut everything down, but when did he actually take the exam? You see, family, I actually sat and took the PMP exam, and finally, if I had some cheers in the background, I finally passed it after the fourth time. And what I learned in that process is that a lot of times in life, family, we have opportunities presented to us, and because it doesn't look how we think it should look, then we just go the other way. See, I had every right to say, you know what, I don't want to take this exam. This is not what I want to do. This is, maybe they were right what they were saying about me. Maybe this is why I'm not great at testing. I'm going through all of these negative connotations, and then something said, wait, you just gonna give up like that? You just gonna stop? You just gonna quit? And what I learned is that in life, family, we are presented with things in life that test us to see how bad we want it. And see, when I took this break after I passed the PMP exam, I learned that I said I was just watching to see the content that was out there. I was paying attention to the information that was being spread. And I have to be honest, if I'm just being honest with you, it's just you and I talking, family. I felt like my voice was needed. My voice was missing. And this morning when I had to make that decision of getting up earlier than I wanted to, and I didn't even prepare for this. Yes, I kept saying, yeah, you know what, we're going to start at the beginning of February. Yeah, we'll start. No, we'll start in March. And as I was sleeping, something said, we need to get started now. Normally, family, I don't date the show, but today is March 1st. And the reason why I dated it today, because I want to show you, family, that they say it's never too late to get started, which is so true. But the key point is you have to get started. You see, what I understood from that message from TD Jakes when he was talking about how people will imprison you. See, you can even imprison yourself with your own success. You can even imprison yourself by what other people say about you or what you should be doing. See, be careful about these should be doing people in your life. If you don't mind, I'll talk about it. See, these what you should be doing in your life type people will create a plan for you, will create a purpose for you, but yet they won't even take their own consultation. Ooh, I think I stepped on somebody's toes. My bad. And because of that, you get so caught up in trying to run their race that you don't run your own race. And because you're not running your own race, you're not experiencing what you should be experiencing. See, you're so caught up in the noise or the distractions and what you think should or could be that you miss your lane, you miss your purpose, you miss your exit. Have you ever been driving, family, and because you've got caught up in a routine of always going a certain way, that if sometimes you may daydream and you pass your exit, and you're like, how did I pass my exit? As many times as I've driven this same route, how did I pass my exit? See, that's what the same thing is like life, family, is that we'll pass our exit along the way because we're so caught up in the day-to-day, the routine, the everyday establishment, that if we don't break our routine, if we don't change our approach, if we don't constantly work on pivoting, constantly building skill sets and finding ways to get better, we'll miss our exit along the way. And in missing our exit, there's an opportunity that could be had. You see, as I was working on coming back to the show, there was a lot of things like I wanted to come back with this whole production. And, again, I've been fighting still to get the video treatment for you guys so you can see this handsome face. I'm just playing, family. Well, you know what? I'm not that bad on the eyes, family, but I really wanted to create that whole treatment. And something said, no, we need to get started now. See, because what will happen is that we'll get paralyzed by all the things we think we should do and all the things we think we should have. But see, I was watching, what inspired me was watching that documentary by Kanye West where episode 2 really did it for me. I can't speak for you if you haven't seen it. It's on Netflix. It's a classic. I think, in my opinion, right now, currently, is one of my favorite documentaries of all time. And the reason why it's one of my documentaries of all time, because it fits today's message, where they imprisoned him and said, oh, that's my producer. He's the one that makes beats. And he's saying, no, that is not all that I do. I also can do art. art. I'm also a rapper. I'm also an entertainer. And this is the thing. That's why I had to go back and play that eagle and chicken again, because I wanted you, family, to understand how people will imprison you with their fears and their limitations of what you should be, and then you fall susceptible to that because of the fear of maybe they're right. But family, what if they're wrong? I say all that to say that is that if Kanye or Ye allowed himself to be imprisoned by what people said that he should be or he should do because he was great at producing, and no one really heard him rap, and no one really paid attention to him rapping. Even when he was trying to rap, they was like, yeah, that's cool, but where my beat at? And you'll get that in life. And what I loved about Ye was his persistence and his consistent of willing to put in the work, of willing to take advantage of the opportunity. Meaning when he was in there producing a record for someone, he also slided, hey, have you heard this song that I put together? These bars that I'm dropping for you or whatever. All I want you to understand, family, is don't get caught up in this race of trying to outrun your neighbor, because your neighbor, as TD Jakes said, you don't know where he or she has started. And a lot of times we can get confused of where someone started at. You don't know what their parents may have provided for them financially or emotionally, or you don't know their backstory until you have that conversation with them. But again, you can the perception is that, oh, well, yeah, even though they're ahead of me, I should be there too. But you don't know what type of advancements they got along the way. So as you're starting your journey, run your race. That's why I love when they, when I learned about the horses or whatever, and when they put these things, I don't know what they're called. So, excuse me, you can criticize me in the comments or whatever, because I don't know what it is, but I digress. They put these things, basically are covers in which the horse can only see straight, and basically just literally having tunnel vision. And I thought about it to myself, what if we did that with our lives? If we put these blinders on as far as the exterior of what we see, and all we can see is a straight path to our dream, all we can see is a straight path to our vision, all we can see is a straight path to our goal, all we can see is being more than what we was yesterday, all we can see is being the best version each and every year. And matter of fact, I have a mixtape that I'm actually working on, and one of the tracks on there is here's what they think about you. Here's what they think about you. Because reason why I have that track on there is a lot of times that people will say things about you and they don't know the story. I'll say that again. A lot of times people will say things about you and they do not know the story. They have an assumption, they have a perception, but they're not sitting in your story. And so family, because they're not sitting in your story, sometimes you'll get caught up emotionally because you're wanting to please, or you wanting them to understand. They don't understand, and stop getting people to understand your story. Your story was for you to leverage so you can move forward. I always say this. And the more and more I'm coming into myself, the more and more I'm coming into knowing who I am as an individual, I realize the importance. Matter of fact, I realize the duty that I have to move strategically, yet move tactfully. What I mean by that is saying, family, that I need to start working my plan and planning my work, but not planning my work that is so in a way that I can't make adjustments, that I can't pivot. A lot of times we get caught up in the planning stages that we never take action, nor do we execute. It reminds me of a story that I shared with you guys before, talking about that howling dog. And if you don't mind, I'll like to unpack that story for you again and just go read it again to you guys, because I think it's so powerful how a lot of times we allow the environment to to make a decision or make a judgment on where we should be. Check this out, family. Tim just moved into a new neighborhood recently. He likes his house and the environment, but there was one thing he doesn't get: his neighbor. His neighbor has a dog that keeps howling nonstop, day in and day out. Initially, Tim thinks that the dog is just going through a phase, so he ignores the howl, thinking it would eventually stop howling. But the dog continues to howl. One day passes, nothing changes. 2 days, still nothing changes. 3 days, 4, 5, a week, a month, still howling with no signs of stopping. Finally, Tim has had enough. He can't stand it anymore. One fine day, he walks over to his neighbor's house to see what is going on. Sure enough, there's a dog sitting on the front porch, howling pitifully to whoever's walking by. On the other hand, his neighbor is sitting on the bench in the front yard, leisurely reading his newspaper and sipping a cup of coffee. So Tim walks up to his neighbor. Tim, hi, I live next door. Neighbor, hey, hi, John. Tim, your dog, by any chance, is been howling nonstop. Oh yes, sorry about that. I hope it's not bothering you, Tim. Well, yeah, it is. Why does he keep howling? Well, that's because he's sitting on a nail. Sitting on a nail. Tim is, he's taken back. He's bewildered. He said, all right, so why doesn't he just get up off the nail? Well, Tim, John takes a slow sip of his coffee before replying. That's because he doesn't find it painful enough yet. Family, when are you going to find it painful enough that you get off that nail and you realize that something has to change? I have to take action. Maybe it's not the perfect action, but sometimes we have to stop looking at perfection and start looking at progress, because perfection will eventually come along the journey of progression. I think I just said something. I'll slow it down because maybe I may have missed you. I said that we can get caught up in the perfection of things that we never get no progress, or we don't progress forward. So family, today, as I close out and welcome me back to the show, I'm coming back, and this is my warm up. First episode back. This is a warm up, and as I continue to come bring that hot fire, bring that motivational, I'm also bringing some new things here. I just don't want to inspire you. I just don't want to motivate you. I also want to find opportunities in which, if you're looking for a career change or you're looking to grow, that there's some things that are going to be coming on the show, and I'm still trying to work through those things. But in the meantime, in between time, I also have a Patreon page, so which it will be in the link. I hope that you come and check me out. I hope that you will take advantage. I'm for those who do sign up, again, you'll be getting personal, well, not personal, but it'll be videos that literally I'm not going to put on here. And I also have some things that I'll probably give away for free as part of the Patreon, meaning like things that I actually use. I don't want to give you anything that I'm actually not using, because people will do that. They'll put together things that they don't actually use. So if I'm not using a product, or I'm not doing it, I'm not going to give that to my family, because I don't think that's fair. I'm not. At the end of the day, I want to inspire, I want to motivate, and I want to push somebody into their greatness. Somebody that's listening to this, that's either driving in their car or sitting down and thinking about, what's my next step? What should I be doing? And instead of just sitting there hesitating, I want to push them to get started. I want to push them to where, that greatness is just sitting in the bowels of their belly, and they just need somebody to inspire them, because I can't do the work, but what I can do is inspire you to do the work. And hopefully that over time, as I'm coming back for this, I want this number one spot. And family, I'm about to do everything in God's will to go and get it. And I want to be the number one, not just, it's not about being the number one motivational or inspirational speaker. That's not what I want. What I've figured out what I really truly want and need is, and that is to be the number one servant leader that anyone has ever seen, meaning helping develop more people, helping develop myself along the journey, that everyone has an opportunity not just to be inspired, but to find ways to take that inspiration, to turn it into something that they can monetize. So I hope you follow me on this journey. I really enjoyed myself today. I'm glad that I'm back. You're going to see more of me. So just get ready. Follow me on the gram. If you don't, most of all, follow me on YouTube. I'm on the episodes will be uploaded on the YouTube. It's the Impact Secret Podcast Show, same as this. The link is also in the bio, in the description of the notes. So with no further ado, this is your boy, ED. And this has been the Impact Secret Podcast Show. Peace and love, family. I'm so happy to be back. We will be getting to work more. Peace.